Hi, today I'm joined by Dominic Baliszewski from broadbandchoices.co.uk, and we're going to talk about everything broadband. Thanks for joining us, Dominic.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with a simple question. Where are the best places, or what should people be looking at when they want to get the best broadband deal?
I think it's important that they consider the whole package. So broadband these days comes with phone as well. So it's not just broadband, it's broadband and phone, and for some people TV as well. So it's important to think of how much are they going to download, so what download limit do they need, when are they going to make calls, how fast do they need their connection, so are they going to be doing a lot of downloading, and if they are someone who's looking for TV, what TV channels do they want? So the whole package needs to be considered.
And can consumers get a better deal if they go for a combined telephone and broadband
Almost
package?
always, yeah. Bundling, as it's called, can save hundreds of pounds. People can save easily £200 plus a year if they bundle those services.
So if I find out that my broadband is separate from my telephone and I want to switch broadband providers, is that something that's pretty easy to do?
You can do it. I mean, most companies will give you rewards for bundling, so it's a very competitive market at the moment. Lots of people are offering 6 months half price, some even 6 months free, and those deals will always be available for people who are looking for broadband and phone. So it is definitely worth it switching both at the same time.
What are some of the most common mistakes you find when people do switch broadband providers?
I think it's important not just to consider price. It's very attractive if you see a very low price, you think less than a packet of crisps for broadband, what a bargain. But you have to remember it's not just about that, it's about, as I said, speed and the download limit as well. So if you're a large family, you don't necessarily want a low download limit, you want an unlimited or a larger download limit package. Equally as much, if you're somebody who watches a lot of TV online or games online, then it's worth paying a little bit more and getting a fibre optic connection.
Okay, can you tell us a bit more about these fibre optic connections?
Yeah, fibre optic is basically the future of broadband. It sounds complicated, it's not. It literally just means faster broadband, basically. It's a different cable in the ground. So broadband, as we know it, uses your phone line. Fibre optic, as far as you're concerned in your house, it's exactly the same plug and everything. It just means that the way it's delivered to your property means you get a better speed.
And does that mean you get a better deal because you don't need the phone line?
With some fibre optic connections, you don't need to get a phone line, so you can just get broadband on its own, but most it is still with that phone.
Okay. You were talking about the different speeds, and as someone like me, I get a bit confused with the different categories of speed. I see all these numbers when I'm looking on websites. What does it actually mean? What should people be looking for?
So speed is in megabits. That's big M, small b. That's how fast you'll go. Anything from 2 upwards is fast enough to stream, like iPlayer, for example. Multiple users, you'll probably want somewhere 8 and faster than that. And then fibre optic starts at around the 30 to 40 mark. Anything faster than that, you're talking really, really fast. Fastest available in the UK right now to most people is about 100. So you can get an idea of the spectrum there, really.
But I would imagine not many people need that in their own home.
Most people won't, no. I mean, that at the moment is a lot faster than most people need to go. Think of that as your Ferrari when it comes to speed, whereas a sort of Ford Focus is more like around the 8 to 10 mark. So
can you give us a bit of an idea about the things in the house that use broadband and maybe the things that would use the most broadband?
Everything can use broadband these days. I mean, if you think your smartphones, your tablets, games consoles, so Xbox is a big one. I even heard actually about a bath that you can buy online which you can control from your office, so it can run the bath as you're coming home. Wow. That will use your broadband. Most people won't have to worry about that. But tablets and phones and computers are the key ones. And most modern smart TVs will also use broadband as well.
Okay, and what about parents who are concerned about children using too much broadband? Are there security measures that people can put onto it?
Yeah, when a parent's signing up for broadband, if they're concerned about what their child might be accessing online and they want to put limits, that's a really sensible thing to do, and we would suggest any parent look to do that even if it's not something they've thought of beforehand. They're actually very easy to set up. If you don't know how to go about it, just contact your provider either when you're signing up online, have a look on their online forums, or speak to them over the phone. And if you're not switching to a new provider, you want to get it established, just give them a call and they'll show you how to do that.
I've heard some people talking about rural broadband for people who live kind of out of the cities.
Yeah.
Is broadband connection for people who live in rural areas a problem, and should they be going for kind of rural providers, or are they better off with the big providers?
It's a little bit tougher to get fast broadband in rural areas. My mum lives quite far out in the countryside and her broadband is not nearly as fast as I get in London. So I'll go home and try and download something and I'll kind of be struggling and it's quite frustrating. In her area, there's a few providers that she can look at. So if she was totally unhappy, the speeds that she's got are actually more than adequate. But if she was unhappy, she could still look to switch. And anyone in a rural area, whilst there are fewer options, they should definitely look to see what else is out there. It doesn't mean that they can't switch, and they should still look around and check around and make sure they're on the best deal.
And one final question for you. If you're somebody who works from home,
yeah.
You've got an office in the back of your garden,
right.
and you want to make sure that your broadband works brilliantly in your office as well as in your home.
Yeah.
Is there anything you should consider?
I think the thing that you're going to have to focus on the most there is how good your router is. So most broadband packages now will give you a router as standard. Not all routers are born the same, and some providers love to shout from the rooftops about just how good their routers are. So read the reviews and read the provider sites and have a little look around what the different router options are, because a better router will mean you can get wireless in more areas. So if you are either in a shed in your office, in a garden and working from there, or even if you're sitting outside enjoying the sun with a gin and tonic, a better router will mean better coverage, so you're more likely to get a faster connection.
Great, and I suppose anyone who wants any more advice on switching their broadband can come and talk to you guys?
Absolutely, yeah, broadbandchoices.co.uk. There's the calculator to look at the deals and loads of advice answering more than just the questions we've covered today.
Brilliant, thanks very much.
Thank you. First, make sure that you're out of contract. As long as you're no longer contractually obliged to stay with your provider, you should be free to leave without any penalties. Second, decide what it is you need. Remember to consider what you're using your broadband for, how often you phone people, who you phone, and what TV channels you need. Third, evaluate all of your options. It's a very competitive marketplace with a lot of providers, so make sure you look at all of the options and decide what's best for you. Fourth, consider paying your line rental up front. You can make substantial savings by just making this one decision. And finally, reviews are really important. Make sure to check out what other people have said about the provider you're looking to switch to. And if all else fails, go to broadbandchoices.co.uk where all of your questions will be answered.